Pi Day is this week, March 14th. And if you're new to all of this, you may not realize it's somewhat of a quintessential homeschooling holiday. Even before social media, we passed around ideas for activities we could do with the kids to celebrate. Maybe because it's so concrete, or because it harkened back to homeroom parties or classroom events like Valentine's Day, or maybe it's an attempt to make learning geometry fun by tying the Greek alphabet letter pi to pie as the dessert. But that's what I want to talk to you about this week. Ways to celebrate with the kids. Why Pi Day even exists. So if you're new to the Unschooling Mom to Mom podcast, hi, I'm Sue Patterson, your host here, and at All Things Unschooling Mom to Mom, I create resources to help parents embrace unschooling as a way to learn and live with your kids in ways that don't include power struggles or tears or the school expectations that never really translated into our adult lives. We don't have to duplicate school for kids to have successful adulthoods. And we can prioritize partnering with them so they can learn more about themselves and how to move through the world. So I have coaching programs, memberships, courses, books, guides, all the things to help you do this. You just have to find how you learn best and then tap into it. Maybe it's podcasts like this or videos at YouTube. I have those too. So be sure to subscribe and let me know how you're doing. Really, I do want to know. But today we're talking about Pi Day. And I already know that because this topic is math related, a lot of people are tuning out. So many of us have math anxiety, probably from how schools taught us. And whenever something is uncomfortable, we tend to want to move away from it. But this is under 10 minutes long, so stick with me. Not only can I explain a little more about Pi Day, but we might actually be helping you dismantle your own math phobia. So each March, math geeks and pie lovers converge to celebrate Pi Day. Mathematically speaking, the date March 14th is chosen because pi equals 3.14 and a lot of other numbers after it. It's the third month, the 14th day. It's also Einstein's birthday, so that's an added layer. And I just recently learned it's Stephen Curry's birthday too. Cool for the basketball fans at your house. Pi is what's used in geometry to determine measurements of a circle. I have some quick videos you could watch over at the blog post if you're not sure you remember from your own school days. As I said, quintessential homeschool holiday. And we did it when my kids were younger. We baked pies and put the pie symbol in crusts on top or cut it somehow on the top so it would show. We had pizza pies for dinner. But as unschoolers, we weren't really studying geometry as a subject. We weren't trying to find a fun way to learn about the ratio of the circle's diameter to its circumference. Honestly, my kids kind of shrugged it off, but wanted to enjoy the pie, so I think they indulged me. For me, though, pi, as the math constant, isn't one of those things that has come up a lot in my adult life. I did want my kids to have a passing awareness if someone said, yeah, but did you know it's Pi Day? Maybe school kids get a few minutes dedicated to Pi Day, or maybe math teachers are going all out. But in my real life, that version of pi wasn't showing up a lot. It seemed a little artificial. So interestingly, when I was looking to see if any new Pi Day memes had been created, I have over 100 of them now at the blog post. I'll link it in the show notes because meme makers certainly have tapped into this Pi Day idea. And I discovered that Pi Day is an official national holiday. I mean, not one where the post office is closed, but in 2009, it became official. So I started digging around to see why was that? You know, the curiosity of an unschooling mom, I can't help myself. And back in 1988, the staff at the big Exploratorium Museum in San Francisco had gathered to soul search and brainstorm at a retreat in Monterey. The museum was founded by Frank Oppenheimer. Yes, that famous family. He was the younger brother of the more famous Robert Oppenheimer, but also a scientist. And he had died a few years prior, and the staff was trying to find their way. So it was at this retreat that another physicist who had worked at the Exploratorium Notice the correlation between March 14th and the 3.14 of pi. It's an irrational number. The numbers beyond that 4 don't repeat and they go on and on. So as the story goes, they decided to create an event and they set up a table on the museum's top floor. At 1:59 in the afternoon, the numbers that follow the 3.14, they brought out fruit pies and encouraged everyone to celebrate the first Pi Day. A few years later, this scientist, Larry, also known as the Prince of Pi, his daughter noticed that it was also Einstein's birthday. He was born in 1879, and so that added a new layer to the celebration. Larry then created and installed the Pi Shrine, a circular brass plaque in the center of a circular classroom constructed of circular cinder blocks. And he led a winding parade around the museum with his boombox blaring the digits of pi to the music of pomp and circumstance. The parade ending the circumnavigating of the Pi Shrine 3.14 times while singing Happy Birthday to Albert Einstein. So there you have it. And lest you think, no, that's too schooly. We're unschoolers. We're not doing that. I want to remind you that people celebrate all kinds of things. My strewing calendar is full of random celebrations every day of the year. Maybe you celebrate parfaits for breakfast or the anniversary of the first flight at Kitty Hawk. Maybe you add a few phrases when it's Talk Like a Pirate Day, or you say, May the 4th be with you on Star Wars Day. So why not Pi Day? Because it's math and that's too spooky, too connected to bad feelings in your school experience. Let's skip over that. Because over at the website, I did find more memes, mainly puns, snarky humor. I have a bunch of them, one after the other, at the end of a video that I did one year. So maybe I just need all of them in a video of their own. And that way you can put it on TV while the kids eat pie and you can just watch one after another. And you can play songs about pie, whether it's American pie or cherry pie, or actually, I went and looked it up, and there are actually 7 pie songs that hit the Billboard Hot 100 for Pi Day. So I'll get you a link for that too. And so when people on social media make references to Pi Day, you can join in the fun. You can take photos of your kids celebrating. And if you do, tag me because I want to see them. Maybe fruit pies for breakfast, or oatmeal pies, or moon pies for snacks, meat pies, or Frito pies, or pizza pies for dinner. You have a lot of options. You could get the kids to help you bake a pie, or you could go to the store and maybe see a reference to Pi Day. I saw a meme where a store decided their pre-made pies were all $3.14. You could do a pie tasting comparison at exactly 1:59 in the afternoon. You could text memes or pie jokes to your teens. Yes, they'll roll their eyes, but who doesn't roll their eyes at puns? I have a link to a pie scavenger hunt where they can go looking for circles or measuring things that are 3.14 inches or weigh 3.14 on the scale, or noticing the March 14th on the calendar and seeing that that's 3.14. But actually, as you talk about Pi Day, however briefly, new vocabulary words get introduced into their world. Words like circumference and radius, Einstein and Oppenheimer, irrational numbers, or why pi sometimes has an E at the end and sometimes doesn't. Unschooling is all about making connections between things, and Pi Day can be a great jumping off place. No, it probably won't look like school. They may have very little interest in learning about pi r squared. Maybe you could just write these words on a big whiteboard. Put Pi Day up at the top and then write them underneath and encourage the kids to draw pies or list out their favorites. There's something over at the website called Paiku, which is kind of like haiku. I have examples of that. I have videos over there where you could look at how pi works, share that with the kids, or even a Dr. Seuss book about Pi Day. You could watch Life of Pi or other movies about mathematicians. I even found a link to 17 food deals you could snag on Pi Day. So enjoy Pi Day. Don't worry if you have more enthusiasm for it than your kids. That's okay. Successful unschooling parents often have an insatiable curiosity for information, and the quirkier the better. So if your kids are flat out bored with the idea, that's okay too. I recorded a video about that, the reality check of Pi Day. You might need to go there next. Or just dive in, enjoy your pie, and I'll be back next week with another unschooling pep talk.